Yo, what is going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Rider Zero Spike. Back again once again, and today people, today we're here for Kamen Rider Revice episode 48. This is the ending, subpar ending to the Juuga saga. This episode had a lot, and I mean a lot of emotion in this episode as well, especially since, Iki is losing his core memories, very, very, very important memories, and he's losing them in this episode very, very rapidly in this episode. And yeah, we also get some clarity. We also get to know what happened with that, what that stain, how the convenience and importance of that stain that's on the floor in Masami's old room. And yeah, it was like, we all know, yeah, it was in the weekend base and stuff like that. I feel like they should have foreshadowed that way long ago, especially since, like back probably when George first discovered the weekend base, he could have been like, well, this is y'all base, and left it at that. Like, that's how I feel like it should have been. But yeah, this episode was very emotional, because the whole Iki losing his memories thing, and everybody trying to everybody just constantly trying to get him not to fight in this episode as well. We did see, as they were fighting, as they were fighting Juuga and getting absolutely mollywopped by him. Well, we did get to see Kagero actually fight Juuga and Sakura, and they just get dusted. It's like not even fair. They're trying to stop Iki, even though Iki in the last episode did try to, at the end of the episode, get ready to henshin. They did stop him, and yeah. So since they couldn't really defeat him, we see that Kagero use his Stamp's ability to to do the whole summoning bats thing, to use it to end up getting away from George. And I always thought, like, can all the Vice Stamps do that? Like, can all the Vice Stamps, like, just, if I use it and stamp it to the ground, like, will whatever animal that stamp represents, like, pop up? Like, I always felt that way. I always wondered, like, I didn't always wonder that, but it got me thinking, like, all Vice Stamps. I mean, when you had the Gift Junior Vice Stamp, the Gift Junior Vice Stamp, whenever they wanted to summon a bunch of Gift Junior that was stamping onto the ground, or when they used the Guilford Rex Vice Stamp, and they had used it to make clones of themselves and stuff like that. So I kind of figured maybe the other Vice Stamps can do that as well. So we actually get to see, like I said, it was a lot of emotion in this episode. We also saw that, they're trying to get Iki not to, get out there and fight and things like that. And everybody's trying to come to terms with the whole, like, eventually he's gonna have to henshin. And Iki's like, I need to, but it's like, only person that can really stop him is me, because, like, most likely Iki and Vice are the strongest people there. And we did see how we had Iki, it was Iki, Hiromi, and Hideku, the real main character, and they were packing up a bunch of stuff, and they ended up finding that picture, and Hideku basically runs up to the room, the picture with Kid George and Masami in it, and they see that stain on the floor, and they ended up seeing that in the picture there's a door where there's a mirror, and they end up going into that room and discovering George's old kid room, like his childhood room. And they find all these different drawings and all these different things from when George was a kid. And basically you find out that Masami has, he kept everything, that all the drawings and everything that George did as a kid, like, preserved everything. Like, the room looked absolutely great. And yeah, so they ended up taking all that stuff and they ended up taking all those pictures and things like that. Hiromi ended up taking all those pictures and things like that, and we did see that. God, I just had it. We did see that George is still out there looking for everybody. So they did actually go see and talk to Takumi and Hana, basically say that they're talking about, they're kind of reminiscing and a little bit of flashbacks and things like that of Iki, of everything Iki's basically done and their whole like journey throughout this series, throughout this season, and how many times he's saved everybody, and now that he's losing his memories and things like that, they basically came to the consensus of like, we'll just remember everything for him. So we go back to Hiromi basically saying that he's he's gonna try and find a way to stop the whole memory loss thing by actually going through a lot of Masumi's notes, and most likely he's gonna find a way how to do it. So they get back home, and we see that Iki does not remember his parents. They still don't remember he still does not remember his mom and dad and things like that. And since he doesn't, they're mom and dad, they're messed up about it. They actually go into like the family room. They all eat together and stuff, and they really really pray about it. So we see that Hiromi basically sets up a fight. Basically, he sets up the fight for Iki and George to actually battle each other. Since George only sleeps on roofs now, because that's the only time we really see him is just outside. But everybody we get a talk between the siblings, and they basically come to the agreement that they came to the consensus is like, we need to go ahead and just let Iki fight, because we kind of like we can't beat George, and they basically come to the conclusion that we need to just let him fight, and we'll do our best to help him remember things, and we'll do our best to just remember everything for him. So we do see that. We also, Vice is very very messed up. He feels very very bad about the whole Iki losing his memories thing, because he feels like it's his fault that Iki is losing all of his memories because of the contract that he made with him. And since that, he's trying so hard throughout this episode not to let Iki transform, but when it comes down to fighting George, he's gonna have to transform. So we see that they ended up battling George, and it's a really cool fight. Like, they ended up destroying the all the Juuga stuff. I kind of hated that, because I do like this form. I love the sound and stuff like that, and I hope that we'll actually see this form again. I'm hoping that we'll actually still be able to see this form again, because I really like this form. And he ends up shattering it, and that's when Hiromi shows him that your dad like kept all of the stuff that you did when you were a kid and stuff like that. We see that the whole point of Juuga, the whole point of George becoming Juuga was like, I want to surpass my dad. And that was established way back in episode 1. Like, he had already surpassed his dad long ago anyway, and I guess he just George always felt like he was just second fiddle to his dad. But I mean, his whole freaking MO. Like, he wanted to destroy everything his dad like ever created, hence him going after all the writers, because technically all the drivers are kind of made. All the drivers is basically just all made by Masumi. So we see that after that, we see that George kind of just lets it all go. Like, he just lets all of it out. Like, he's pissed off that he didn't go see his dad on his deathbed. He didn't get a proper goodbye to his dad. And that's, that's basically like the ending of like the Juuga arc. It's kind of anticlimactic, but yeah. And after that, we see that Iki has basically lost all his memories, cementing it by asking Vice, "Hey Vice, who are they?" He looks at Daiji and Sakura, and he basically says that he asks like, "Who are they?" And yeah, like that actually, like that was the most gut wrenching part for me, because they were like smiling, but it immediately just like went into tears, because that's their older brother, and he's like, they knew that if he kept fighting, that this was actually going to happen, and it did. And now they kind of just have to really kind of like deal with it, because it really, right now, there is no way to reverse all of this, and the episode ends off right there. But man, I did this the emotion in this scene, the emotions in this episode kind of like were the best parts to me. But I feel like this was like kind of an anticlimactic, abrupt kind of thing for this like little Juuga arc, because I feel like the Juuga arc should have been maybe at least 3 episodes or whatever. But at the same time, like I feel like we should have defeated Gif a long, like maybe like a long time ago, just so these other like smaller arcs can breathe, because right now we're just moving from arc to arc to arc, and especially since that this series is about to end, we're still like doing smaller things to kind of pad out. And because next episode, Vice, like Iki and Vice like living together, things like that, and we see that Vice becomes like evil, or Vice starts to revert to being a demon again. Maybe it's a prank, bro. Maybe it's something. Maybe Vice is losing his memories or something like that. Maybe, but I don't know. I just feel like this like ending to like the Juuga stuff kind of just ended kind of abruptly, and I hate that they like destroyed it. Like I hate that they actually like destroyed it, because George's whole thing was just like, I want to be a Kamen Rider, I want to create the ultimate Kamen Rider, stuff like that. And it's just kind of, I hate that they destroyed it. I mean, yeah, George can rebuild stuff. He probably would make a whole new belt and a whole new Vice stamp, and it'd still be better than regular Juuga, but yeah, very emotional episode, kind of an abrupt ending to the Juuga arc, but I did like Juuga, and I hope we see Juuga again. I mean, we're gonna see their stream again in the next episode, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of Kamen Rider Revice episode 48. I'm gonna see you guys next time, and remember, stay Henshined.